And now with the age-old debate, which grip is the proper grip? Well, it's more like D, all of the above. It depends what you want to do. If you're looking for a finesse or something where you have to do a lot of bounce and intricate strokes, there's a thing called the balance point of the stick, and that's where it's going to bounce the most. So you want to have your grip at that point. There's match grip versus traditional grip, and there's all kinds of debates. Both grips are great. You know, there's guys that play amazingly well with traditional grip, and they're way back here out of the balance point, but they're just playing great. And some are right at the balance point, some are match grip, they're playing great. The main thing is you want to be able to not limit yourself. So you have to find out what works best for you. I find for me the traditional work doesn't work as well. I spent some time practicing it. You want to spend some time on each grip, and I don't mean, 10 minutes and go, oh, I can't play like Steve Gadd, so it doesn't work for me. No, I spent a couple of years on the traditional grip trying to work it out and stuff, and then I just realized it's not really something that I prefer, because I'll be playing like this, and if I come up to the tom, and all of a sudden you can see I'm moving out of position, or if I go to a floor tom over here, it just feels awkward for me. If I'm playing over here, it's not too bad, but or if there's something in this region, it just doesn't feel right, whereas match grip for me just feels more natural. You got to remember that this is called a traditional grip because it's just a tradition. It's not the more technical drummers can play it, because you see a lot of jazz guys do it that way, because it makes it a little bit easier at times to get quieter strokes, more finesse in that. But you can still do that with match, and you can get lots of power with this. You got Neil Peart, you got Stuart Copeland getting lots of power with the traditional grip. It's all about the velocity that way. So with the traditional grip, it's basically between the ring finger and the middle finger. You see some guys holding it like that, but it's not going to really give you the power that you could have by having these extra fingers over it, because you have more muscle, more control. Okay, so it's just sitting nicely relaxed in there. Fingers over top. And then when you get into finger technique, there's some people that prefer to use their fingers like that, and some people prefer to use their thumb. So experiment with both, see what feels natural to you. I have a buddy of mine who started playing some drums, and he just grabbed traditional, just felt better for him. So that's what he does. That's great. Now with the match grip, there's all kinds of different hand angles and different approaches. And again, what you want to do is not limit yourself musically. So, because myself, I use all grips. I've been playing all over the stick. If I'm doing a heavier rock thing, I'm way back here at the balance, out of the balance point, because then I can use the weight of the stick to give me more energy, which means I have to do less work. And sometimes I play like this, because it just gives me a louder sound, and I don't have to work as hard. So therefore, I'm more relaxed. The feels become more musical. So with the grips, it bases off the hand angle. So if your hand is more straight up like that, which is referred to as a French grip, the thumb will be over top of the stick. Don't come to the side like that. But again, these are rules, and rules develop. Sometimes they're made to be broken in the drumming system, that is. Because sometimes I will play off to the side like that because it's more of an emotional feel. I'm trying to get the music across. I'm not worried about having such perfect technique that, I feel better about myself. It's not that. It's about the music. So sometimes I'll go slightly off, but if you're talking about being in proper position to control multiple bounce strokes, it's nice to have the thumb on top. Okay. Now, in relation to the hand angle, like I say, thumb straight up like that would be French, or what they refer to as French. If you play slightly turned out, it's called the Swiss or American. And then if you go over palm over top, it's referred to as German. Now, you might think, well, what's big point doesn't make much of a difference. Well, you can see the form twists, right? So it's going to make a big difference on what feels comfortable to you. Some people, their hands will naturally hang a little bit more German. Some people a little bit more French. So just find out what's natural for you and work with that position. Now the fingers, because most people's fingers are not the same length, it'll affect the fulcrum point in relation to the hand angle. If you have a French, your fulcrum point will be off that finger. And if you go more to the Swiss and American, the fulcrum point actually becomes more between those points. And the fulcrum point, I'm talking about the balance point of the stick. Okay? And then as you go over to German, it goes back off to the middle. And then this one becomes more of a guide. Because what happens is this finger is shorter. So being not as long, if you go to keep it around, you see what happens? I get that wrap around. And all of a sudden, now the stick is just matted into the palm of the hand, and everything comes from the wrist. When it's down, it's nice and open. You should be able to stick a stick up through there. Should be nice and relaxed. When I was learning to do this, I actually cropped a stick and just put it in there, and I'd practice that way so that my muscle memory would take place, and I would remember how to hold the stick properly, like that, not like that. Again, you can play like that. You're just limiting yourself because it's just wrist. You want to open it up so it's more relaxed. Because you can see, if I'm playing relaxed, see how much the stick moves. Once I tighten up, I'm still doing the same wrist motion, but the stick is not moving as much. So if you just relax, you'll get more motion and more action. And it'll take a while for your fingers to develop the strength to be able to hold the stick in position out there, because it's obviously easier just to grab it like that. But then you lose your tone and everything. So you want to keep it nice and relaxed. And again, that'll help your drumming to be that much more musical.